Good morning, mi gente. It's 9 a.m. I know. Gay people and an LGBTQ plus Kiki at 9 in the freaking morning. Whose idea was this? Oh, yeah, that's mine. That's why I'm still in bed. Me? I'm FayWhat, and I'm going to help you get your week started off right. We have lots of fun things to talk about. It's going to be a great week.
Gay boys, hashtag that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word. Is that girl the girl of all our dreams? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl. Pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton. Is that girl Latina, but she's universal too. If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
So happy to be with you folks today. We have so many things to talk about here on The FayWhat Show. The FayWhat Show is America's first LGBTQ plus morning show. And we are live right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm also on demand, baby, for a price. Nah, I'm joking. It's Monday, April 3rd, 2023. Wow, it's April already. So let's kiki about what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community. I have a sidekick joining me in bed for some conversation. What else did you think? What the hell am I going to do with this guy with a harness? I wouldn't even know where to begin. Our first segment is called Gay Boys Sleep Late, and this morning I'm joined by my gay guy pal, one of my co-hosts on It's Happening Out, as well as a life coach, leather sir, and a napper, as you can see. Mark Pettitt.
It's early.
I know.
What are you making gay boys get up at 9 o'clock in the morning for?
I know that,
we had
honey.
Getting off of Pride season.
I know. There's a lot going on. I know. I mean,
This is how you know I love you.
but thank you, puppy. I know.
I'm here in the morning.
I know that you love me.
Hello, beautiful gay people.
Hello, Mr. Mark Pettitt. I'm still getting used to the Pettitt.
I am too.
So Mark got married to the gorgeous Luke a couple of months ago, and I was blessed. Me and my wife, the Cuban, were blessed enough to be there for the wedding, and it was a beautiful unity of two incredible people. And then I had to get used to the fact that he used to be Mark Moffat, and now he's Mark Pettitt. And for a while, I was calling him Mark Pettitt.
We do not like that. Yes, we had a deal when we were about to get engaged because we were having the discussion over last names. Mm-hmm. My last name Moffat, M-O-F-F-I-T-T. His Pettitt, P-E-T-T-I-T-T.
That's a lot of T's.
So how are you going to hyphenate that? So we made a deal and said whoever proposes, the other person will take the name. Because proposing is a big deal. You got to put like a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
So he proposed and I took Pettitt.
Okay.
That's the story.
But did you have any thoughts of like beating him to the punch and proposing to him first?
No.
No, so you knew.
Oh, I
so
knew.
you already knew.
I am.
You manipulating little gay boy. You totally knew what you were doing. You're like, I get to sit here. I get to be the first lady. He gets to propose to me. And okay, I'll take his name. Whatever. I've used Moffat for a couple decades. I'm good.
Well, and I'm not really attached to it. It's not even my original last name. I was born a Vocal, then I was adopted and became a Moffat. So
Okay.
yeah, just changing it one more time. No big deal.
No big deal.
No big
No,
deal.
but you know what? I think that you did the right thing because I hyphenated mine, right? I took, my wife changed me and changed my last name.
And every
Those damn lesbians.
every form is a pain in the ass now.
And every form is a pain in the ass now because there are forms that don't take hyphens, that don't take the little thing. On my, to get the passport was a pain in the ass. When they look for your name in government sheets, they never could find me. When I go to Walgreens to pick up some stuff, my medication, please look under A and also C, just in case. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. So, folks at home, if you are newly engaged and you're going to get married, go the petite way. Go the Pettitt way. Just take the last name and call it a day.
Yes, and don't get divorced because then you got to do it all backwards and it's worse.
I know. No.
Yeah,
it's
so
not,
pick a good one if you're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, you've already superseded. Like, we had bets on It's Happening Now on how long you guys were going to last, and I had money down on a month, so I lost.
You vulgar bitches.
Well, I'll say it. There were some boys on the cast that kind of want to take Luke for themselves, so they were hoping also. But you're all wrong. They're going to be together forever.
Mine bitches.
his bitches.
Love you.
All right, well, there's a lot of interesting things going on this week in the LGBTQ plus community, and always. Okay, Mark, let's kiki on some of them. You cool?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's do it. So first, take a breath and think about Pedro Pascal. I really like him. Like, he makes me question my sexuality. Isn't that odd?
He very much affirms my sexuality. I didn't realize until I think like the 4th episode of Last of Us that he was the Mandalorian. As I fell in love, I'm a very auditory person, so voice does everything for me. It's why I married a British guy. He's got,
I mean, the accent, right?
Yes, you can tell me what to do in a British accent all day long.
And he does. And he does,
He
right,
does.
Luke? Yeah. So I didn't know about the Mandalorian either. I didn't know that he was the main person in the Mandalorian, and most viewers didn't know that either because they didn't even tell people until like the last episode.
He didn't take the helmet off until like the end of the first season.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is like really turned out to be an awesome ally.
Yes. But he's been around forever. And like now he's like so in the spotlight, like 100%. But he has been around for a while. I loved him on Narcos, and he was like on a bunch of other stuff too. I'm Colombian, so I like to watch drug stuff.
But it's always, with actors, it's like they look like this overnight success. But when you look at their IMDb, they've been working on it for decades. It is their craft.
Yeah.
But he really stands up for us.
And we love that. And well, and like Mark said, he does stand up for us. In The Mandalorian, he made it like his goal was like, okay, we need to have more LGBTQ plus representation. And then they started making more characters to do that. He's got a trans sister and he's constantly talking about her. So we love him as an ally. We pray at night that maybe he comes over to the other side, because when there's one gay sibling, there's usually another. So
if he does, my name is going to be Mark Pettitt Pascal.
Mark Pettitt Pascal. I'll deal with that hyphen, bitches.
Hello, thruple.
Hello, thruple. Hello, Luke. Get ready. Learn Spanish, papi. Anyway, so Pedro Pascal's gay Western is ready to rival Brokeback Mountain. Take that in, okay? Pascal is ready to ride into his next role after The Last of Us as the gunslinging Silva in a new queer Western romance, Strange Way of Life. The 30-minute short film, which is reportedly set to open at the 76 Cannes Film Festival in May, stars Pascal alongside Dead Poets Society actor Ethan Hawke, who will play a sheriff named Jake. Ooh, I'm loving it already. Yes. Considering the internet's seemingly undying fascination with Pedro Pascal, Strange Way of Life will almost certainly end up on must-watch lists.
So given his status in the industry, it's hardly a surprise that you can call upon big names such as Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, which may lead many to expect a large-scale Western with a huge Hollywood budget. However, it's worth remembering that despite Hawke and Pascal recently appearing in blockbuster Disney projects, the pair still have a reputation for appearing in much smaller, weirder art house movies, which I think is probably more the case here. But as far as the plot goes, we don't have a lot to go on, but the movie follows Silva, a retired gunslinger who rides out across the desert to visit his friend, Sheriff Jake, who hasn't seen in over 2 decades. And although their reunion is a positive one at first, the next day, Silva tells his friend something that changes everything, completely altering the context of his visit. Obviously, at this stage, it's hard to tell what the twist might be, but given that the film is being touted as a Western romance, it's likely that the pair might share a deeper relationship that could well prove problematic for them given the time period it's set in. This seems all the more likely given that the director was at one stage meant to helm Brokeback Mountain before Ang Lee ultimately stepped in. So it could well be a spiritual sequel to that movie, but probably with a much deeper and darker twist in the same vein as The Power of the Dog. But I suppose only time will tell.
Brokeback, watch out! What are we all talking about? Are you really biting that?
I am not sure if I'm excited about this movie or not.
I'm excited about our little getup right now. Yeehaw!
Oh, save a horse ride of Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I love that.
And if this is like a real like gay romance that he's in, I think that's just a whole nother level
I didn't
of his
expect
work
this.
as
Did
an
you?
actor.
I didn't expect this from him. But I love it. I'm all about it. Like, give me more, give me more.
I think he's like half activist, half actor, which is, to me, the responsible thing to do with your fame. Like, if you're going to be out there, if people are going to be talking about you, let them be talking about you for something that adds value to society.
And you have the
That makes us
platform to
better.
do it. And you have the platform to do it,
Yeah.
you know? And we get mad so often about like the queer baiting and about straight folks playing gay roles, you know? And I mean, he's such an ally. Will you think people will still have an issue with that?
I don't know. I don't have that issue with straight people playing gay roles. No,
Okay.
to me, it pushes us more forward as a society if somebody can just kind of break those norms and say, look, it's a character. I'm an actor. I'm not playing, something that's so out of this world. It's just somebody with a different sexuality. I think it's even more impressive when it's a straight character playing, or when it's a straight actor playing a gay character.
I see your point, Mark. But here's the thing. Like, I really do believe that these stories won't be seen by the larger masses if they're not played by a straight character. I mean, I'm sorry to say that. Like Brendan Fraser in The Whale. Okay, his character won an Academy Award. He won a freaking Oscar for that role, and in that role, he was a gay, overweight man dealing with depression and having to deal with a teenage daughter. I wasn't mad that he wasn't gay. I thought that he played the character well and deserved that award.
Yeah, and if anything, it gets us more
out
exposure.
there. Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to know, like, how do we get to see this 30-minute independent? So yeah, we are keeping our eye out for this one.
For sure.
And look at how cute Miss Faye is, her little cowboy hat.
Yeehaw. I'm loving this.
Giving you some country western lesbian diva.
Right? Like, if I saw a woman walking towards me, what do I say? Hello, madam. Like that? Like, do I say that? Like, good day, madam.
No, it'd be howdy, ma'am.
Howdy, ma'am.
Howdy, ma'am.
Can I milk your cow?
Don't say that.
Oh, wow. No. Why? Can I try to milk you?
That is so pervy.
Is it pervy?
Can I milk your cow?
Did you think that was pervy? I guess it's pervy if she's...
That's okay. We are going to work on your country western lesbian flirtation skills.
Howdy,
lesbian. Get you out to a little line dance.
Howdy, lesbian. See any U-Hauls around here?
There you go.
Right?
Yes, now you hit it.
Howdy,
now
lesbian.
You hit it.
Is there a Home Depot next door that you and me can go by and go buy some plywood?
Hey, does that hitch fit on my U-Haul?
Yeah.
Or does your U-Haul fit? You know what I'm trying to say.
You know what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to keep this on for a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Next, recently after the Oscars, Rosie O'Donnell, which has been on my show like every single week for like, I don't know, a couple of months, all right? So Rosie O'Donnell admitted online that she doesn't enjoy going to the award shows or its after parties, calling them very stressful. One follower responded by asking, quote, how many of Madonna's after parties have you attended over the years, end quote. A few days later, O'Donnell addressed the comment in a separate video saying she went to a few soirees at Madonna's, but often left early.
It's true. I did go to Madonna's parties, but they weren't really after parties. I guess they were after the tour opened. So I did go to a lot of Madonna parties. You're right. But that's pretty much it. I'm not like, somebody who's like, we're going, like once Madonna said, oh, we're going, come join us for dinner at Jerry Seinfeld. So I actually had dinner with Jerry Seinfeld once at his house where his wife and kids were, a beautiful apartment. And, but I don't know him very well at all, but I like him. Great guy, good friend with one of my exes. And, yeah, I did go to Madonna's parties. You're right. But that was it. And I often, left early. Or I'd bring a family member like my sister Maureen or, my brother Eddie, big Madonna fans. So you're right, that's the truth, but I don't go to many others.
Recalling her days of partying with Madonna, O'Donnell said, quote, I never was a person who vacationed in Florida until after A League of Their Own, and I stayed with her, and I thought, this is how the rich people live, end quote. Rosie and Madonna, back in the day, what are we all talking about? If you're going to go to anybody's party, it's going to be Madge's party. I mean, think about it.
How are you going to go to a Madonna party, though, and leave early? Like, before all the good shit happens.
That's true.
Like, before they send the kids home and the harnesses come out, and the cowboy hats come out and all that. But you could tell she must have not been comfortable with that level of expression. Because if you're bringing a family member to a party, you are going to be on your best behavior.
And yeah, and I think that was her, but like she said it, that was her crutch. That was her way of getting out early. And what a great idea, Rosie. Next gay party I go to, I'm going to get the oldest person in my family and take them with me so I can go home early.
And no shit's going to go down.
And no shit's going to go down.
When A League of Their Own came out, that was like a very cathartic movie for me. So I love that this story kind of brings back the conversation of them talking, just to see women really kind of breaking through that boundary and coming into a man's space at that time, man's space, and just really freaking owning it. And their performances are phenomenal in that film. I think that's one that stands the test of time.
I love that movie. No, I love that movie too. And it made me feel a certain kind of way too, because it's like you can tell Like you can see yourself as a woman, you can see yourselves in these characters, you know? Did you see the reboot?
No.
I didn't either. I feel awful about it because it got so much coverage. Like I saw a couple of episodes and then the only, and well written, yes, well written, beautiful queer women that they used, but it wasn't Madonna and Rosie. And because of that, I was just like kind of lackluster on it. You know, I didn't give it that much of attention.
You missed the New Jersey
I missed the New Jersey
piece of it. That's what
I missed it. I missed the New Jersey.
Oh.
What was that? Oh God, I can't remember her name. It was, I forgot her name. Her name was Marge or something. It was, what a hitter. Oh my God, I used to I just love the League of Their Own. And I love that Rosie and Madonna were like besties back then, you know, during that debacle kind of like debauchery time, you know. And I think Rosie knows more than she's letting on, and I'm just going to let her.
Yeah, she said that she left the parties early often. That doesn't mean always. I think that there's other stories there.
There's other stories.
We're watching you, Rosie.
We're watching you, Rosie. And you know, Madonna strikes me as the kind of friend, because I'm that kind of friend. No, you can't leave yet. No, girl, no. You know what's about to happen? Blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah are about to blah, blah, blah. You can't. You know? And then you're like, okay, I got to wait 10 minutes for that, you know?
I'm going to see Madonna. Probably like every gay boy who watches this that was waiting for the tickets to come out.
You are going to see Madonna.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, because to me, my favorite stuff is all of the earlier stuff up to about Ray of Light, and that's where she's focusing. So, yeah, I will be down in Miami and doing a little overnight and hitting the
Doing
Madonna
an
concert.
overnight. He does not live that far, but he's like, I'm going to party all night. I'm going to go into Twist after. I'm going to hope that Madonna goes there after, and I'm going to do the damn thing big time.
Right. If you're going to do a concert, I say do it all the way.
Yeah.
I already got the shirts. Let's go.
What do the shirts say?
Madonna, like with the leather hat and the cigarette hanging out in black and white. So I got one for Luke in black, one for me.
I love that. That was the picture of the cover of Hot Spots magazine for Women's Month. If you were down here in South Florida, you had to see that, and it's so hot. Me, I can't afford a ticket to Madonna because I would have to give up one of my children if I had any. That shit is expensive. Super expensive.
I got hers for like $250.
And where are you sitting? Casa La Pinga up there?
House of the Dick? Is that Casa La Pinga?
There are certain things in Spanish do not translate, right? Latinos,
Like, I speak Spanish and I did not understand that reference at all.
Casa La Pinga.
No, like the first section outside of the floor, but I think we got in like really, I know we got in early. I had like the screen loaded wait list.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy Madonna.
I'll send you pictures.
Yeah.
Love you.
Send COVID your way, and I'll be going with Luke real quick.
I'm vaccinated. That was shady. On to the next topic.
That is shady. I love that. It's this hat. It's making me shady. Like, it's making me more shady than usual. And like, I don't know if that's possible, right?
I think we got the wrong color hat for you. The bad guys were black.
Yeah, well, I should. I should. You ever watch Yellowstone? It's one of my favorite shows in the world.
No, but I know it's one of your favorite shows in the world.
Kevin Costner and the other guy, or whatever his name is, but he's always with a black hat and he's always so mean, and I love it. I love it. Next, speaking of someone who is not mean, but I guess she could be if she really wants to be. Ching, ching, ching. Wonder Woman. Actress Linda Carter reestablished her LGBTQ plus allyship recently by helping encourage a father to accept his transgender child. Carter posted a notification from local police announcing the arrest of the suspected murderers of transgender teen influencer Brianna Gay. The post included a picture of Gay smiling. Commenting on the announcement, Carter wrote, quote, "Rest in peace, beautiful girl," end quote, and added an emoji of the trans pride flag. In response, a trans female Twitter user named Jessica at Thor Corsair's wife wrote, quote, "Linda, my dad grew up watching you as Wonder Woman and passed down that experience to me. Unfortunately, he isn't as open-minded as you, which is ironic because you're his hero. The world needs more people like you," end quote. A few days later, at the Corsair's wife replied, at Linda Carter, "I came to him today. He took it really well. I came out to him today. He took it really well. Thank you so much," end quote. This Wonder Woman actress is a true hero. What are we all talking about? Wonder Woman, Miss Linda Carter, still coming through, still being a hero and being such an ally to our community.
I think to me she is like the perfect iconic story, almost like of a living drag queen, because she's got her kind of daytime character. Every single power that she has as Wonder Woman, she has as, what was her name in that? I think like Diana.
Diana, yeah.
She has all of those powers. All she does is change her clothes to get to use them. I think there is just such a message of self-acceptance and empowerment that, you know, once you know who you are, you can use all your gifts in the world. It is just no surprise to me that that is so gay iconic, but I am really happy to see that she's on our side for this.
Right? You know, and I mean, I give her props every time I see a story about Linda Carter coming to bat for us. I give her props.
Always good.
Because we forget that she's older, you know, and she comes from a certain time where these things were not okay, and they were not topics of conversation that were had just all out in the open that way.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, to be in that age group and to have those opinions, you had to unlearn bad stuff, which is harder than just learning the right way to treat people.
Oh my God, you're speaking to the choir. Like, I just started like learning and researching about just that unlearning process, right? Like, you know, we're constantly educating here at the Happening Out Television Network. That is the reason that we do what we do, is just to educate all of you, right? And at the same time, we get to educate ourselves in the process. But the unlearning part is also like another level of crap that we need to like break down. You know, it's like, do I really feel this way? Is this something that was indoctrinated to me, or is this how you treat another human being? Like, it's some crazy shit.
I think so many times when you really are forced to evaluate your opinions, that you find out that they were just somebody else's opinions that you were holding. I think a lot of times, even like the dreams and goals that we have and set for ourselves belong to somebody else. When I was in school, my parents, my whole life in the military, you got to be either a doctor or a lawyer if you want to have any kind of money.
I have any kind of future.
Yeah, and it wasn't until I got to law school that I realized that like this was not even my dream.
Wow.
At all.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It totally happens. I can totally see that. I mean, you know, it's gross, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this out loud, but I am. I remember being a kid and my mom saying bad things about gay people, you know, and just saying, oh, you would never want to be that way, or oh, if you ever see a gay, like literally like a stranger, right? Don't get into a white van, right? It would be kind of the same thing for gay people. It would be like, you know, I don't want you around that. They're not good people. The Lord doesn't like them, you know, and it's just like, and you start believing that shit, you know, and then once you know you're gay, then you're like, oh my God, I'm part of this group of people that my mom says are bad.
And I think it can even be worse when it's more two-faced. Like, we have gay friends and we're cool socially, but then if you walk with a swish, we're going to call you faggy at the same time. That's really tough.
It is. Linda Carter, we love you. Ching, 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 ching. Next, amid an all-out attack on drag artists, trans people, and gender nonconformity, as a whole, a cast of drag superstars will be raising money for various LGBTQ plus charities in a one-night-only telethon. One night only. I don't know why it just comes up. It's called Drag Isn't Dangerous Telethon and will consist of both live and pre-taped performances, as well as celebrity cameos, led by PEG. The event is also being produced by Q Digital, which owns Queerty. Love you guys at Queerty. You guys are awesome. Glad, Out TV, Five Senses, Reeling, Trixie Cosmetics, and Serve Vodka will also be in attendance. Drag Isn't Dangerous will take place on May 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and the tickets are available online at moment.co/dangerous. Drag stars to have a telethon. What are we all talking about?
We need to be talking about every letter of that damn acronym showing up for this.
Yeah.
And showing up for drag queens and showing up for trans. And if it is something that I think if you haven't shown up for before, I think just know that you will be welcomed in that support.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I was the president of our gay student union.
Of course,
and at that time,
of course you were. Look at the hat.
Oh, I started going in high school. Like that was the one thing like my parents let me do that was gay, is I could go to the gay student union. But when I was president of it, it was originally the GLB student union.
Okay.
So G first, L was a far second.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to stay so far, fucker. I understand what you're saying.
No, and B was like an honorable mention because it was like 90% gay guys
gay
in
men,
it. And we had this huge debate about adding the T, changing the order of the letters to make it more inviting
inclusive.
And accepting and inclusive. And in the beginning of that argument, I was not on the right side.
Wow.
I really wasn't. Because
I appreciate you being so transparent with that. Mm-hmm.
Well, because I was like, you know, at that time we couldn't get married. We were dying and dropping like flies
from AIDS and HIV.
So it's kind of like, okay, let me just get, you know, the closest people to me together.
Can we take care of this right now?
If we start embracing this, we're going to lose. You know, we're going to lose this battle and this battle because we're spreading ourselves too thin. But the light bulb, though, at some point has to go on. I think for people, when you're looking at gender and sexuality issues, is that really most of this boils down to people's gender preconceptions. Mm-hmm. It's why they don't like you being gay. It's like they don't want trans. They want you to fall into very specific
Box
gender
and box and stick there.
categories. And you can't fight against that in one place and then be kind of silent in another. So every letter, I hope, in our acronym shows up to this and really supports, because anybody coming after one of those letters is eventually coming after all of them.
And that's what people don't get. Like, people are delusional about it, especially, white gay boys. You know, and at the end of the day, I get it.
It's a self-protection.
Yeah,
it totally is.
It really is.
But it's also a false sense of comfort.
False. And that's absolutely true, especially here where we live in South Florida. We had an event a couple of weeks ago, and it was a march in heels, and a bunch of people in the community walked a mile in heels for, our drag sisters. And it was wonderful to see all those people turn out and, have calluses on their feet after because they've never worn heels before, Gary, I'm looking at you. You know those red heels were popping.
Is that the Synergy Twins guy?
No, Gary he's no. Why? Who?
The Synergy Twins at Pride as like as an homage to the trans and drag community did like their last 2 numbers in heels.
I love that. I love the Synergy Twins. They were here a couple of weeks ago.
It was so cute. They were dying. By the end of it, they're like, we don't know how you do this.
And just for 2 songs, and they were hurting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which, by the way, they put on a fantastic act.
Listen.
And the fact that they brought in that inclusivity, you just gotta love.
We love the Synergy Twins. Big shout out to them. They were in this bed with me a couple of weeks ago. Go back and watch it on Roku. They're so much fun.
It does fit 3 up in here. I was wondering.
It does. And Luna. It does. Love you, Synergy Twins. All right. And make sure that you go and support this drag telethon. Send them money. Folks out there in LA, go watch it. Go be a part of it. Folks, what community you're in, do something similar, just like they had the March in Heels here. Go out, and all the acronym letters, like you said, have to go support all our drag sisters. So again, I did a post a couple of weeks ago about if you've ever celebrated anything at a drag show, if you've ever gone to be entertained by a drag queen, you've got to stand up. Your voices are needed, especially right now, for sure.
Can I just have one more little?
Please, of course, honey.
Yeah, there's a very big part of our history of when like men and women were not allowed to dance together in bars. Where, that was a big reason why there were some people in drag, so that when the police came in, that it looked like male and women couples. So if you don't think that they should be in the rainbow, or if you don't think that it's something that should really be honored, look at our history. Mm-hmm. We owe everything to them.
Thank you for that. That's so true. Yeah. Get educated. Okay, we have history. Next, pop star and Grammy Award winner Billie Eilish is making her acting debut in Amazon Prime Video's new horror series, Swarm. Created by Janine Nevers and Donald Glover, Billie Eilish stars in as Eva, a cult leader who is in a sapphic relationship. In newly released scenes, you can even see Eilish kiss her love interest. The show is an obvious nod to stan culture, and bees are even a motif, which alludes to Beyonce's fan base, the Beehive. Eilish reportedly appears in episode 4 of the series titled Running Scared. Fans are freaking out over the inclusion. Watch this.
Name?
Kayla.
Name?
Dre.
Good. Tell me something you regret.
She's so weird, but she's got something.
I know that the world has handed you a lot.
I don't envy you kids today.
This is intense.
It's amazing. I'm living a dream.
Did you hurt someone?
Yes.
Very good.
Billie Eilish plays a queer cult leader in Swarm. What are we all talking about? Were you like about to hide underneath? Like you totally was just like, ah!
She is so good. This is such like a pleasant surprise. I didn't have very big expectations coming in, but when you watch her acting, she is so good.
Yeah.
I think being subtly creepy is one of the hardest things to do, and boy, does she do it good. She's a bad guy.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, okay, I'm not a huge Billie Eilish fan. I get it. I respect new talent, all about it. She's not new talent. She's been around for a while, but you know what I mean. Like, when she was winning all the awards and she was performing at all the award shows, I was like, this girl is creepy, right? I was just like, this
And she
girl is
now
creepy.
she has found an outlet for it.
And no, so it makes so much sense though. That's what I'm saying. Like, how perfect is that, you know? And you see that trailer, like that little face of her. Can you imagine, like, just laying in the bed, all of a sudden that face comes up? I'd lose my mind right there.
And that just kind of creepy psychologist personality is like so, just to me, Hannibal Lecter reminiscent.
Yes.
Let me help you understand yourself while I think about eating you. And not in the fun way.
Not in the fun way. You know the fun way, folks. I love documentaries. Like, I love documentaries, and I love docuseries and stuff like that. And one of my favorite stuff is to see like these cult leaders, you know, like Jim Jones and all that kind of crazy stuff. Like, here, have the Kool-Aid, and how this charismatic person can make somebody give up their whole life and follow them, you know?
But it's just people who have usually not had a sense of acceptance. They find somewhere that just embraces them and celebrates them, and then they're just going to do whatever they say. It's so weird. I cannot. This is so on the playlist, and I put it on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this episode. And Luke is like, oh, no, you're not.
No, he doesn't like scary stuff?
No, he loves it, but he just doesn't want me to spoil anything because I can't shut up once I've seen something. So, no, I've only watched the preview. I'm being a good boy for now.
For now.
For now.
Do you spoil it for him? Like, if you've seen something, you're like, oh my God, look what's gonna happen now. And he's like, bitch, can you go to the other room so I can watch this?
No, I just have to be completely silent, because even if I like do a little side eye look, he's like, what are you doing? Does that mean that something's coming? He's way too observant. So yeah, I just have to be like.
Swarm, make sure that you put it on your watch list with your boo, and don't watch it without your boo.
I think it's on Prime, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, Prime.
Amazon Prime. I love that. Next, in a since-deleted tweet, the Grammy Award-winning artist posted a photo of a woman who looks similar to him with the caption, "The surgery was a success." We're talking about Lil Nas X. The post faced huge criticism from the LGBTQ+ community, who saw it as mocking the trans community at a time when they are already facing hatred from mainstream media and politicians alike. Lil Nas X tried to justify his joke initially. However, the increase in backlash made him apologize. He said, quote, "Apologies to the trans community. I definitely handled that situation with anger instead of considering why it was not cool. Much love to you guys. Sorry," end quote. Against the backdrop of the present political and social environment in the country surrounding LGBTQ+ issues and drag performers, this comment by Lil Nas X broke his fans' hearts. Lil Nas X admits when he is wrong. He apologized over a trans joke, but wasn't enough. What are we all talking about? What do you think about this?
I would have liked the apology a little bit more if it didn't end with, like, sorry, guys. Like, oh.
Ouch! Oh, God, you're right,
It's like,
Mark. Oh, man,
but
you're
he's learning.
So right.
He's learning, and I think that is what's got to be applauded. Is that he heard the feedback. He's processing. But I think until that idea finds its way into how you speak and your language and your word choice, that's how you know that it's still a fresh idea.
It's still fresh.
He's getting there, and didn't we hear he does some good work?
Yes,
for the trans community.
When his last album came out, like, he did all kinds of social media craziness on it. He came out with a pregnant belly and all these wonderful things, and then he did like a registry, like if he was going to have that baby, and you could donate. You know, every time he dropped the track, and you know, some organizations even down here in South Florida, Ariana Center got a piece of that pie. So he's there for our community, folks.
His heart's in
but
the
we
right
all
place.
make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, we all make mistakes, and you don't expect that from Lil Nas X because he's been walking that line so well with us. You know.
But it is kind of sad, because I think no matter what group you're in, when it comes to the jokes that you make, you tend to make them about kind of the one other group that you think might be a little bit lower on the ladder. Like that's funny.
Yeah.
And
I mean, again, unlearning. Again, we're going back. You know, it's unlearning because, you know, he didn't
Don't
do
be
that
Mark Moffat in 1994. Be Mark Moffat in 1995.
His hair was way better in 95 than it was in 94.
Mine?
Yeah. Was that when Mark Moffat had a mullet?
I have had production. If you show that, I will never walk back in this studio.
You know, we love Lil Nas X, and his these folks, these celebrities have a crew of people around them. And I believe that Lil Nas X does a lot of his own stuff, like without having to ask a team, like, hey, what's the right thing to do, folks, you know? And sometimes that bites you in the butt, and it did, you know? He was making a joke. The joke was not funny. It was not accepted funny. He apologized, and he should have done a better job of apologizing.
Well, let's embrace him for where he's at and just encourage him to keep moving.
And we can't lose someone with such a big voice like that. By, you know, like I've heard from people, like I've heard from friends, Mark, that have said that I've gone up to a trans person, I've asked the questions, and I have gotten belittled. I won't do it again. And I will have to go and say, please do it again. Please try to do it again. Don't let that one time completely deviate you from getting educated, from being a better ally to our community.
And don't be the person that when you're asked the questions, gives a smart-ass response or belittles. You know, that person is making a huge move just by asking the questions. Bless their heart if they're still idiots, but take
which
your
could
time
happen.
with them. Yes.
Which could happen. And there's that. So Lil Nas X, we love you. You know, sometimes you've got to proofread. Hey, there's times that I'll tell the Cuban, I'll tell my wife, read this. Is this wrong?
And when your voice is that big, you have more responsibility.
You do.
Yeah, you need a person on your copy.
Yeah, you do. But again, we love you. Next, during episode 11 of season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race, the cast of queens were given a mini challenge in which they were asked to celebrate the queer art form of voguing. All right? Gravity Jacobs, who appeared on the season 1 of HBO Max's Legendary, condemned the segment for bastardizing the art form without properly educating viewers on its history or performing the moves correctly. Voguing originated from the New York ballroom scene of the 60s, and the queer people of color who filled it. It was catapulted from subculture to mainstream by Madonna's Vogue in 1990 and by the film Paris is Burning the same year. Jacobs said, quote, Drag Race capitalizing off inaccurate narratives of Vogue and ballroom is nothing new, but this one is about as blatant as they come, end quote. Should artists stick to the original form, or creative liberty for entertainment is possible or not? What is your view? Did RuPaul's Drag Race mock voguing? And was that wrong? What are we all talking about? What do you think, Mark?
Every mini challenge mocks something. They have no, seriously. They have 10 minutes to get ready. The makeup is
Quick
especially
drag.
bad. Whatever they're doing is super corny and just terrible. So maybe voguing just shouldn't have been in the category of a mini challenge, because everything in a mini challenge is making fun of something else.
Yeah, like when they do the reading is fundamental. That's usually a mini challenge, and it's always like making fun of everybody.
And that's from Paris is Burning. Mm-hmm. But when I first started going out in college, like my first gay club, I lucked out. I had a gay roommate my very first year in college. Hey, Daryl Williams-Guillory.
Hi.
And Daryl is a fabulous black gay man and took me to his club. I had no idea what to expect when I was going to it. I had bleached blonde hair, wore a white t-shirt, white jeans. I mean, I was looking about as white as you could be. And
like Eminem during that weird time of this?
Oh, yeah, but like a surfer version of that, which is
even weirder?
Even weirder and whiter. So he did not tell me anything about this club, Level 2 in Tampa, which I don't think it's still around. But we walked in, and it was a pure black club that was all lit. The entire place was lit. And what kind of light would you think, Faye?
What color?
Black light.
Okay.
I glowed. No one
You look like a walking glow stick.
I had a queer aura around me that was so insane. But I'm sorry.
That's hysterical.
That part was
Where's Mark? Hold on. There.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, he's walking. He's walking. He's lighting up the room.
You could see me in the bathroom with the door closed. Seriously.
Oh, my God.
But that was my first exposure to ballroom, was going in and seeing the walks and the categories. I have an immense amount of respect for that. But I do think that people are kind of crapping on RuPaul a little bit here, because you would not have the exposure I think that ballroom has. Have you seen the show Legendary?
Of course, I love Legendary. Legendary.
I don't think that show would have happened without RuPaul's Drag Race either. So
it wouldn't.
And we would be having this conversation about it if it wasn't for that.
RuPaul.
So I think you got to have a little bit of a sense of humor with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
A little bit of understanding, because I recall that Madonna got shit also for
a ton of
shit. And the reality is that many people would have never even known what the word Vogue meant if it wasn't for Madonna putting out that song.
And they're very upset about like kind of the names of certain moves being changed, but language does evolve.
Yeah.
Like what they call the shablam now was
shablam. It's
shablam.
Death drop.
It's shablam, aka death drop, which is really a dip in ballroom language. Mm-hmm. But I think we started calling it a shablam because one of the announcers would call it would make that noise when the
side piece.
What
was the name of the announcer?
Mizrahi.
Mizrahi. Yes, you see that name everywhere
what was the sound that he would make when one of the queens? Shawam.
Shawam. And then bah.
Sounds like something Shangela would say.
Shawam. Bah. Okay, but you've got to respect the history of this also. Again, so RuPaul's Drag Race is huge, and they should also know that they need to go and maybe have a consultant from the ballroom scene that will give them the correct information and how to respectfully introduce this.
I think ballroom has it out a little bit for Miss RuPaul too, because she's never really
acknowledged them.
I don't think she's really acknowledged it, but she's taken a lot of the terminology.
But was she part of ballroom? She wasn't part of ballroom, right?
Have you seen RuPaul perform?
Yeah.
Made the best person win.
That's it. That's it. That was her performance, and she was amazing.
All she has to do is walk out on stage, and she's fantastic.
It says she's
fantastic. I think they could have had a little bit of an honorable mention, something that would have brought some context.
Listen,
to it.
Our community was not hugged enough. Okay, so when things like this happen, it's just someone that wants to be seen. All right, let them be seen. Give them the respect that they deserve.
I see you, FayWhat.
Thank you, babe.
Okay.
Finally this morning, I love this story. Diplo has come out as not gay. Okay? Not gay. Not gay.
Gay enough for me.
Gay enough for me. The 44-year-old DJ and music producer who has been in high-profile relationships with MIA and Katy Perry got candid about his same-sex experiences during an appearance on Emily Ratajkowski's High Low podcast. After discussing various subjects, the topic turned to oral sex, as it always does, right? As Diplo divulged, he's hooked up with guys despite not being aroused by men that much. Quote, I've gotten a lot of blowjobs, but I don't know. I mean, getting a blowjob is not that gay, I think, end quote. If you say so, Diplo, watch this.
I got a blowjob from a guy before.
You're sure that's happened?
Yeah.
And you just don't remember?
I mean,
you're saying you're not committing to it, but you're saying you're sure it happened.
For sure.
But you don't have a specific memory of it.
Like, I don't know if it's gay unless you make eye contact while there's a blowjob.
That's such a straight guy thing to say.
But getting a blowjob is not that gay, I think.
I don't know. You tell me.
But what were we about to talk about?
We were talking about Bill Clinton. Because this is a serious podcast, okay?
Yes, homo. It's just oral. What are we all talking about? I love it that side piece has to chime in. Side piece is like, Diplo could be not gay anytime for me. I'm okay with that. Did you agree?
He took my line too. There's also saying, I like voice, and he's got that grumbly.
Yes.
I mean, just like if he was talking to you during, would totally work. I think that he's also just kind of subtly telling you that he has done a lot of partying in his life. He's like, I sort of remember. I know it happened, but not with who or where or how many times. It might be time to dry out a little bit.
I know my penis has been in a man's mouth many times, but I'm not sure how it started, or I just know it was a good time. You know what I mean?
Does this turn you on, Diplo?
Right?
Does this turn you on, Diplo?
Yes, Diplo.
Let's see, Pettitt-Diplo. It could work.
It could work. But you're ready to be Diplo's Dipho.
But again, regardless, I think of what his sexuality is, it is so powerful for a kind of straight guy to be relaxed about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
If the world could be like that, right? Just be so fluid where it's just like,
Sex
listen, whatever I like, right? Yeah, wherever I'm at. If there's, yeah.
But if anybody has video of that, please email us at production.
Because I definitely want to see from whatever standpoint. We're good with it. That's fine. I love it. I love that he's secure with his sexuality enough to just say, like you said, hey, it is what it is. It might happen again. It might happen a few times this week, and It doesn't make me gay, and it doesn't make me gay, and it doesn't make me not gay. It just makes me Diplo.
And maybe having a fluid sexuality doesn't have to mean meaning between, moving between the letters. Maybe that just kind of is a sexuality in and of itself.
And that's fine.
Let him
love
be
you,
who he wants to be.
Yeah, be you. Be you, boo.
Mm-hmm. And any experimentation, come right on over.
CUM. Well, okay, Mark. So anything fun going on? Look, it's the beginning of April. What are you and your beautiful husband? Anything fun coming up? Last time you were in bed with me, you were out going to do a retreat. You were gonna coach some people into a better life.
Then we had the Pride that was coming up right after that.
Then we had West Palm Beach Pride, and we had Pride.
So we're actually
Palm Beach Pride.
We're getting ready for another Pride. There is Pride of the Treasure Coast,
nice.
Which is, I believe, PrideAllianceTC.com. If somebody wants to get tickets for it. Mm-hmm. It is Saturday, April 22nd. So it's like for Port St. Lucie, Stewart.
Is that Space Coast? Is that what that area is called? No.
No, it is the Treasure Coast.
Treasure Coast.
It's the Treasure Coast. So it'll be a little bit smaller than Palm Beach, but I think very family oriented, super trans embracing, everything like that. So yeah, links by Luke. Me and Luke are going to be there with. Oh, yeah, you got a model.
I wore my bracelet. Yeah, look. So Luke Pettitt made this bracelet for me. I'm going to say he made it for me.
Well, he did.
He made it for me.
He did.
And I love it.
And I think something that people will love, too, is that it's not just kind of the standard rainbow, that here you have the trans colors in it, you have the skin tone. So it really does incorporate the entire Progressive Pride flag.
And it's so important. It really is.
Come see us Saturday the 22nd.
Definitely going to go check out. It's Pride season, folks. You know how it starts, all right? Starts at the end of March, and we go all the way to the end of June, all right? So get ready.
And bring an umbrella. Okay. Like, it's the smartest thing that you can bring to Pride, just to walk around in the shade.
Or sunblock, if you're that white.
Yes. I'm sorry, you were going to compliment me?
On being white?
No, before I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I'm always complimenting you. I love you. I think that you're a superb guy. And I'm so glad that you came back in bed with me. Thank you. I think I have you back in bed in a couple of weeks, if that's okay with you.
I would love to.
Hey, to come back.
I'll wear less clothing.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Yeah, you might want to tan those legs, maybe.
How dare you? My legs are beautiful.
Look at this. They're gorgeous. I love him. Mark, thank you so much for getting in bed with me. I love you, Papi Lindo. You are the bestest. I love it. That harness. Oh, I just got fitted for my new harness. Wait, more to come. You will see more about that. You have no idea. We will be talking about that soon.
The scandal.
Yes, I got to thank Mark for getting up early for the FayWhat show. I know how hard it is for you in the morning because gay boys sleep late. The FayWhat show is part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America. Hotspots Magazine has been documenting the LGBTQ plus experience for 38 years. And Happening Out Television Network has been bringing you daily LGBTQ plus news, talk shows, and more for 4 years. In the same model of PBS and NPR, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to educate and serve the LGBTQ plus community. Did you know that Happening Out Television Network studios are located at Sunshine Cathedral Square? Yes, they are, which also houses Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church located in Fort Lauderdale. We broadcast our Sunday service every week at 10:30 a.m.
I'm Glenn Weinzimmer, founder of the Smart Ride, second largest AIDS bicycle ride in the country, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
That's my friend Glenn Weinzimmer. I love him. He's the owner of Bona Italian Restaurant in Wilton, and if you're ever there, make sure you grab a bunch of garlic rolls, rub them all over someone you love. I do that every Monday night. At the FayWhat show, we want to introduce you to interesting people that are so important to our LGBTQ plus community. Today is no different. I am so excited about my next guest. So her name is Vanessa Parish, and like this beautiful bombshell just kind of jumped out at me, right? I was just looking through the news like I usually do, and Vanessa was just amazing. She was spotlighted on Queerty, right? And you guys know they are always doing like interesting stories about the LGBTQ plus community. And you know, and it was like, okay, yes, Vanessa's a pastry chef, right? All right, yes, I'm all about a queer, beautiful Black woman cooking for me, right? So I'm like, all right, pastry chef, she's got my attention. Then I go look her up, and there's so much more to Vanessa Parish than meets the eye, all right? She's a mental health advocate. She's the co-founder and director of Queer Food Foundation, Queer Food Foundation. And she does a million things else, okay? She does panels, she speaks around the country. She just taught me a new word, by the way, nomadic. Now, it's not that it's the first time that I've heard the word. It's the first time that I get to meet someone to explain to me exactly what that means. Like basically, I'm going where the job is. I'm going where my soul is like just directed to, right? And that is what Vanessa's doing right now. So help me welcome to the FayWhat show, Vanessa Parish.
Hello, thank you so much.
Hello, Queen. Thank you so much for being on the FayWhat show. I love your smile. I love your energy. I love everything about you. Thank you so much. Tell us about Queer Food Foundation, Vanessa.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So Queer Food Foundation, we started it during the quarantine because as we all know, the restaurant industry had a huge like resurgence of, you know, flipping upside down. And we realized that like queer marginalized people we're getting cut first. We were getting left out in those conversations. So my co-founders were like, you know, we need to find a space for us where we can empower each other. We can find each other around the country and give each other support and also hold these companies accountable for what they're doing to kind of marginalize us even more.
Well, you know, and how important are queer food spaces right now? Okay, because I love that. Queer food spaces are your passion. Right? And, you know, with everything that's going on in the world against our community, how important are those spaces right now to you, Vanessa?
So when I think of queer food spaces, it's pretty much anywhere you eat, right? Food is everywhere. Queer people are everywhere. So you're talking about your barkeepers, your farmers, your sommeliers, anyone that has any sort of hand, people that you eat dinner with, you know, there's queer food spaces everywhere. So obviously they're important because food is a life source. So you're asking people that are handling your food, serving you food, eating with you to be kept in mind and treated equally in those spaces.
I love that. You know, one of the, we were talking before about how we were both in hospitality. I think, you know, it's always like not an easy, it's wonderful when you're able to go and work in a space where there's usually a lot of other LGBTQ plus folks there, you know? You know, it's interesting about how you go somewhere and you have somebody's food and you can tell when they put love into it. It's that extra spice. Mm-hmm. Right? It's that extra spice. And I think that us as Black and brown women, we're just like, you know, we grow up knowing that food joins people, food unites, you know, and you take it to the next level by making it part of our chosen family that's also nourished, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
So as a woman of color, I
ask us all the time.
I'm sorry. No, please.
People ask us all the time, like, what's queer food, you know? And we tell them, like, queer food is exactly where it exists. Like, if there's a queer person around, there's queer food. That's it.
I love that. All right, so that's what, from now on, that's what I'm going to do. When I serve food at my house, I'm going to go, enjoy your queer food.
Yes.
I think people will eat it more and more yumminess, like every little morsel. Yeah, this little queer corn is really yummy. Yeah, this queer beef is delicious. Vanessa, so seriously, we're here in South Florida. We're in Fort Lauderdale. You've come here and we were talking about how hot it could be here. You know, people come and live here because of the weather. Right? But we have a horrible governor. We have a horrible governor who wants us erased and is thinking and, you know, makes LGBTQ plus youth think about ending their lives, okay, with some of his decisions that he has put upon us. You know, he's driving our poor children to unthinkable places, you know. What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
You know, I think it's very scary, but also kind of a reflection because there's a lot of people that are approving this. There's a lot of other countries, states that are also making their own legislation behind this. So I think it's a realistic approach to see like we are in danger and we need us each other more than ever to really come to bring these kids out, support these parents, support the legislators that are trying to fight against this. This is a call to action, and it's very loud and it's necessary. Even as a Black woman in Florida, they're doing a lot of legislation against Black people. So I'm in a really hyper marginalized space of intersections that are being constantly attacked. And so we're working with other organizations to find out how can we support these people? What do we need to do on the ground level? Because it is a crisis that is happening.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a crisis. I mean, it really is. Trans Day of Visibility and Trans Day of Remembrance, they're both coming up, and they're two very important dates for our folks at home to keep in mind and make sure that you have on the calendar. I'm constantly screaming that the LGBTQ community have to unite, just like what you said, or we are in deep, deep trouble. Are people not listening that women of color, especially Black trans women, are being killed at an alarming rate? You know, Puerto Rico called a state of emergency last year, I believe, and then I heard nothing else. You know, what are your thoughts about that?
I do think it's very important to remember that Black trans women are brutally murdered and marginalized more so than any other population. And I think this is a really big opportunity for us to hold each other accountable. I think when we have these moments of crisis, we only split ourselves up. We think about, oh, we're gay, we're not lesbian, oh, we're this, we're not this. When it's overall, if they come after one of us, they're going to come after all of us. And so we all need to, put our asides and really take this seriously. If we have to protest in the streets like we did in 2020, then so be it. But we really need to support these people. We really need to support these Black trans folks because they're depending on us for survival in addition to what they're already facing.
Very true. So true. You're from North Carolina, and now, like I said, nomadic, my new word of the day. Yay, use it in a sentence, right? And now you're in LA, and I know that you're moving around constantly because you're being called and pulled. And, I come from the world where I believe that if you're busy, it's because God needs you in a lot of different places, okay? And you just have to show up. So thank you for shining. What are the big differences between Raleigh, right? Where you Raleigh, you were in Raleigh, North Carolina, and LA for a Black queer woman that could also cook her ass off?
Oh my God, it's night and day. I would say when I left about almost 10 years ago, it was almost like an escape because the food industry, just the state is a red state. They say it's a purple state, but it's a red state in a lot of spaces. So I faced a lot of fear being out. I faced a lot of fear going to Black spaces. Sundown towns are still a very real thing here. Klan rallies are still a very real thing in North Carolina. So going to LA, where there's kind of a dystopian view of any of those things happening. Like I had friends that did not believe that is where I grew up or those things were even happening in modern times. So it was freedom for me, but then people didn't realize like this is still happening. These are people that are still experiencing this today.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy though? I mean, I think, me and my wife constantly are having that conversation. Like, are we in crazy world? Because I feel like we're taking 3 steps back every single time we turn on the news. When Roe v. Wade was overturned last year, I was out there on the streets protesting like a crazy fool, right? And what I did notice was that the G was not there protesting with me, and I was kind of like, I felt let down about that. And then my second thought was exactly what you said. If we don't unite, we are in deep, deep trouble.
And I think that's a really good point you make, that some people forget that even within us being a marginalized space, there are other folks in our community that are not marginalized in other spaces. So, as Black and brown women, we have a lot of intersections where we are constantly attacked, and a lot of other folks are not in those same intersections that are attacked. So they don't really see a full scope of the dire need of that advocacy.
Yeah. And, and it all boils down to, honestly, Vanessa, is education, because for me, I'm constantly learning. We were talking about the women's panel that we did last week and that you've also done your own women's panel. I'm 11% Nigerian, but you wouldn't freaking know unless I told you, okay, by staring at my white face, okay? If I don't open my mouth, I might be treated differently than you would. And these are things that people need to be aware of. People need to be more educated of. I learn from my Black trans friends and sisters all the time. The unlearning process is sometimes even harder than the learning process.
I mean, language is key. Power of education is key. Ask more questions, get better answers. Also, ask questions outside of your own little subgroup. I think that's a big thing that people forget about, is that your little community is not a representation of the world.
Amen. Yeah. And the more that we shine like yourself, and the more that we tell our friends and friends of friends, and we take away that stigma, then I think the world could be a better place, but we're so far from there. Let me think of something fun, because I'm getting agitated, right? It's like, there's just always so much. There's always so much, right? Yeah. Yes. Are you single, Vanessa?
Yes.
Wait a minute. There was a hesitation there. Like, let me check my Tinder.
No, like what? Are like, how they are. Like, it's just such a thing.
What is it? I think that they invented, remember when you would put, I think it was on Facebook, where you would put, single or whatever, or you would put, it's complicated. I think that they invented that for us, for the lesbian community, because it's always freaking complicated. Yes. It's our best friend that used to be our ex, that used to go out with our sister, but we still like and we still hang out with.
Yes. Literally,
right? We laugh because it's true. Folks at home, all the lesbians that are watching this are like, yeah, basically, yeah, that's us. Okay, so you're single and you're a chef. What would be something special that you would cook for a first date?
That's a good question. I try not to go overboard, because some people just don't know how to cook. And so I was making omelet. People are like, oh my God. I'm like, it's just an omelet. But I really like to make something that's kind of an homage to me. So anything really Southern. Like I'll make smothered pork chops or mac and cheese, chicken and waffles, those really traditional Southern foods that people love, cheesecake, just so people get a sense of like who I am, where I'm coming from.
Oh, I love that. Because, I remember going out with a girl once. I can't cook to save my life. So like I ordered the food and then I threw it like on a plate and pretended that I made it.
I am the person that makes the food for my friends to put on their plates.
I love you. Oh my God. If I ever move to LA, you're going to do that for me too, for real. But I remember doing that for a girl, and she wouldn't eat in front of me. Like, she had issues with eating in front of people. And I think that that's just such a sharing moment when you're able to break bread with another human being that you don't know 100%.
No, absolutely. I mean, like I said, food is our life source. So if you can't break bread and eat your life source in front of people, then I don't really understand that. This is a moment of time that we're getting able to sit down, nourish our bodies, and enjoy each other's company.
For sure. Well, needless to say, I never dated that girl again. I took my fried chicken and I had a really good evening by myself. Okay, so you gotta tell our audience about your connection with the divine, the incredible Miss Rihanna. Tell us how that came up. Yes, girl. So, you game changer, you. I'm telling you, I stalked the crap out of everything that you did.
No, it was a tremendous honor. They emailed me and I thought it was spam, because like people just be sending random emails, and I was like, I'm not gonna listen to this. But I saw the domain, and the domain was the same as the website. And so then I started like doing some sleuthing, and I was like, oh wait, these are legit people. Let me email them back, And so it kind of just went from there,
That's incredible. Incredible. And when I was stalking when I was researching, I won't call it stalking, when I was researching, I was just like, okay, I know that you had competed on the Food Network and you had done a couple other things, and I'm like, man, she should do pup food, because like you saw my dog, like I am all into dogs. And then I saw that you were with Mario Lopez making frozen dog treats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, he's so sweet. He's so sweet.
Are those dimples really that freaking deep?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's real. Yeah. I'm like, my family, all that watch Saved by the Bell, they were just like, oh my God, so it was so fun working with him. He's got such a great energy. And then I also made some dog biscuits, like dog cake with BuzzFeed's Tasty too. So I think that's actually where they found me from there.
I love that. So Vanessa, Pride's coming up in a couple of months, and just like now you guys in LA have your Hollywood Pride. Now you have your WeHo Pride also. So you've got a couple of Prides coming up. So do we here, and it's a big deal. You moderated the panel. But this is where I was going to tell you about the panel. More than Pride Month, more than merch.
Yes.
That was the panel. that I was thinking about. Tell me about that, because that always comes up. That commercialism always comes up. Well, we're happy that Target has a whole entire section of some Pride memorabilia for Pride, but really, we don't see you all year round aside from June, you know, May and June. So tell me your thoughts on that.
Okay, so, well, you know, rainbow capitalism is a thing. We talk about that. We get frustrated with it. Rainbow all over Target, you know? So it's kind of a duality, because there's also little kids, you know, in Florida that's their only way of peace, is to see that little stand in Target, to know that people are supporting them. But yes, rainbow capitalism, that's why my foundation, we do a campaign called Queer All Year. So if you work with us in June, we expect you to work with us year round, or we're not going to be associated with you. We really hold people to that standard. So it's more of an encouraging of, you know, queer people need your money. They need your support all year round. We don't need you to disappear on us. And we need to be celebrated for each other year round. So true.
So true. Vanessa, I you know, I don't usually tell girls this on a first date. I mean, on a first conversation. But I really do love you. I adore you. I think that you're just simply incredible. What's next for you, Vanessa? I saw that you were featured. I told you on Queerty. And I mean, you are representing us everywhere, you know, so beautifully. What's next?
Okay, so what's next is, I mean, you know, the foundation is my baby. So what we're doing coming up this summer is we're going to be doing a nationwide queer food festival. So we've got some top cities that we're going to be joining, having big food festivals in their parks. We're going to bring out some queer food entrepreneurs, businesses, community organizations, entertainers, and we're going to have some big parties during Pride Month and all the way throughout the summer, and it's going to be great.
Oh, it sounds completely fantastic and amazing. And if I can get my brown ass over there, you're going to see me like this, like, it's me, it's FayWhat, I made it.
Please come through, come through.
I would love that. I love that. Please make sure, folks, to follow Vanessa Parish on all social media outlets. We need to support the women who support us. We need to raise these incredible women up to where they belong to be, okay? And girl, you need your own show. Just to let you know, like, you need to have like
from your lips to God's ears.
Listen, girl, my wife says I can manifest shit. So let me see. Manifesting Food Network. Manifesting Vanessa Parish. Manifesting. Thank you, Vanessa Parish, for being on the FayWhat show, darling. I love you. I adore you. Make sure that you follow her on all social media outlets, and you keep shining, queen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful.
Finally this morning, I want to get our week started by telling you some things that are really important to me. We call it Faye. What's on my mind? Self-diagnosing is on my mind. Don't do it. Sure, this might be more convenient than scheduling a doctor's appointment. Sometimes we do this because we're hoping for peace of mind that what we're experiencing is maybe normal or not that serious. You know, if the results reassure us that it isn't anything serious, then we may skip going to the doctor altogether, even if we should be getting medical attention. So don't do that. My wife is a nurse practitioner, so I am constantly telling her that I think I have this or I might have that, and she usually says, you don't have that, Faye. Go to an AA meeting. You're just crazy. Okay, valid point. So I want to help others that are like me and are constantly thinking that they have something, you know, because I know you do it too. You know, there's a reason that there's an ongoing joke that WebMD will always tell you that you're dying. But these kinds of results could make people avoid the doctor because they don't want to hear bad news, or they'll worry so much that it leads to other harmful consequences. Have you been anxious lately? Yeah, well, 2 in 5 people end up diagnosing themselves with a serious disease after Googling their symptoms. A survey of 2,000 Americans found that 43% of them had misdiagnosed themselves after searching for their symptoms online. And 74% said that the result made them more worried. Of course. So my wife's nurse friend told me a story about a patient who incorrectly self-diagnosed themselves. The woman had convinced herself that she had a brain tumor after first feeling fatigue. She was tired. She thought she was tired from young children and a full-time job and a crazy lesbian wife, and that she stayed up late all the time. But then she decided to Google a remedy for her exhaustion. This took her down an internet rabbit hole that suggested her fatigue was a brain mass, okay? She thought that this silent brain mass was slowly killing her. The next day, she tried to schedule a visit with her doctor, but there were no availability, of course, until the following week. During that week of waiting, she didn't eat, She didn't sleep, and all she did was worry, okay? This would only make her issue of fatigue even worse. So she kept on, Googling symptoms of brain tumors, further making her believe that she had a brain tumor. So when she went in for her visit, she provided a list of all the scans and blood tests that she wanted. The doctor told her that there was no need for all those exams, that they were hasty and they were expensive, but she had already convinced herself that she needed them, so they ordered the test anyway. Well, unsurprising to the doctors and the nurses, she didn't have a brain tumor. Her blood work showed that she was slightly anemic. That was it, okay? Which they could have detected with less expensive means. The woman caused so much extra stress over something that she could resolve with an iron pill. There's another friend of mine. Her name is Debbie, okay? Yes, I'm calling you out, Debbie. I love you, chica, pero tú eres loca, okay? So she started having a weird feeling in one spot of her stomach. So she went to an urgent care clinic. They did an MRI test, which showed several nodules on her liver. The doctor didn't have an explanation from the MRI and said that the spots could be benign or malignant, which they usually are. She would then go to a specialist for further diagnosis. But between the visits, she made the mistake of, yes, Googling what was going on, and the results of liver cancer told her that was what was going on, okay? It told her that her situation could only be bad and that, of course, she had liver cancer. This led her to believe she was going to die and that she had to do things while she still had time. Debbie dedicated a bunch of days to spending time with each of her children one-on-one. She then started calling all of us, her friends, saying that she needed to have special time with each of us, that she wanted to have something on the beach. I was like, what the hell, Debbie? Teresa, the Cuban, my wife, told her she wasn't dying, right? And of course, the findings from the specialists were that the spots were benign and Debbie didn't have cancer. Her constant worry over the online misdiagnosis had wasted so much of her energy and a lot of her time. She now admits that she'll stop Googling symptoms and instead go straight to the doctor, all right? So no, don't let this happen to you, LGBTQ plus folks. I know that we have issues with healthcare and healthcare providers, but there are places to go. There is no excuse, okay? You ain't a doctor, unless you're studying to be one, but right now, you ain't a doctor, so stop self-diagnosing yourself, okay? Get yourself checked out by a professional. Well, that's it. That's the FayWhat show. I hope that you had fun. I am really passionate about trying to connect the L and the G in our LGBTQ plus community. It's often hard for us girls, but if we believe that we are one strong community, then we must support all the letters of our L, G, B, T, and Q plus. We opened the show with a nod to Mary Tyler Moore, and that girl's Marlo Thomas. This show is dedicated to a strong LGBTQ plus community. I just encourage you to be a little bit kinder, a little bit funnier, and embrace our tremendous diversity. It's what makes us so damn strong. I gotta say thank you to Mark Pettitt for being in bed with me this morning. He's such a cutie, I love him. Until next Monday, world, at 9 a.m. live or anytime on demand. I'm FayWhat. Let's say that again. I'm FayWhat! And I'm hashtag that girl. I wish you a week full of sunshine and rainbows. Stay gay.
Rainbows, gay boys, hashtag that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word is that girl, the girl of all our dreams. She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl. Pride-filled, T-dance, Wilton is that girl, Latina, but she's you.
So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the FayWhat show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ plus media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the FayWhat show. Get the week started with me.